Steven, have you and I reached unk status?
We're never going to reach unk status, Derek.
What qualifies someone to be an unk?
Complexion.
So that's what I thought. And that's what I can't stand about today's youths. They decide to take black slang and use it for their own. And we were talking about this on the show the other day. I was like, yeah, it's Joe Flacco versus Aaron Rodgers, the Unk Bowl. And many people are like, nah, white people can't be unks.
No, I agree.
And that's fine with me. I don't care. It's kind of like, even though this is not, I asked Copes about this, like, is this quote unquote black slang goat? And he's like, no, I wouldn't qualify that as that. But when you start using those like goat or unk on like sports television, it's like, okay, I'm rolling my eyes now. This is stupid.
Yeah, it's a little much. But they did call Shannon Sharp unk on First Take, and I think that's got to be the baseline there, right? Because Sharp's in his 50s, mid to late 50s. So I think that's where you reach unk status, is when you're in your mid to late 50s. But you also can't be white.
Apparently. All right. How do you reach, I don't know, I heard this last night at the Cal game, chop status?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, neither do I. Like, I guess it's ugly. I don't even know.
Chop?
Like at the Cal game, the fucking student section, the dude that was leading the charge, annoying as hell, just kept screaming over and over again, UNC is unk chop status. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? And then at KMBR with the other Utes that work with us, they kept asking me, so are you unk status or chop status? I'm like, look, I'm at the point in my life where I don't give a shit what your slang is. I don't care what it is. I don't care to know. So I know I joke around like I want to be the old guy. I am the old guy now, and I really don't care about what this new terminology is. It frightens and scares me.
Well, when you type in chop status, the first things that come up is chop status pathway, chop status epilepticus, chop status epilepticus pathway, chop status asthmaticus, chop status asthmaticus pathway, chop status migrainosis, chop status.
I don't know if any of those apply, Stephen. What I'm saying, though, is the only Chopped I care about is the one on the Food Network.
That's the only Chopped you care about. You don't care about Chop Robinson?
Not really. Has he done that much with the Miami Dolphins?
Not too much. Yeah, what about a chopped cheese sandwich?
I haven't had that in quite some time. Can't say I really care for those.
I've never had one.
Sounds like you're missing out.
I really am. It's like a cheeseburger and like a hoagie roll, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, what the fuck does chop status mean though? Like your unked chop status?
I guess chop means like you're not good looking. Oh. And then unk is, I guess, like, cool older guy.
I mean, I don't know. Listen, whatever the younger generation wants to do, they want to do. I'm sure we had some stupid slang when we were growing up too. Like, I always thought about this. It's like when I was walking, or when one time I was going to the DMV and it was in Santa Clara. It was passing by a high school, and high school, I think they just got off for lunch or something. So when I'm at the stoplight, there's a bunch of high schoolers crossing the street, and I'm just looking at like their style and their hair, and I'm like, God, dude, does every single high school kid have the hair where it's like shaved at the top and then or shaved on the sides and then really, really long going all the way down to the top, kind of looking like Joe Burrow standing on the sideline just in disdain when he's watching Joe Flacco lead the Bengals to victory. But point being, I'm like, okay, so I think it doesn't make sense to me. But then again, back when I was in high school, it's like I was wearing jorts and a famous Stars and Straps t-shirt with a buzz cut. I mean, I wasn't exactly, a beacon of fashion or a beacon of trendiness. So I don't know. Who am I to say that whatever this younger generation is saying or wearing or whatever the fad is, who am I to say that it's dumb and doesn't make any sense?
No, it is dumb. I'm just going to shit on everything that's new. And I think that our generation was better and the new generation sucks. Chopped, looking up at Urban Dictionary is just someone that's ugly as fuck. So there you go.
Wow. Chopped, huh?
Yeah. Can't you just say someone's ugly? You get
No, Derek, you can't do that. It's too. That's too unk of you.
And also, like, yeah, I see in the chat, people are asking, like, what the hell is this 6-7 shit? You know, I really don't care. I saw Cardinal Washington, the tight end of the Steelers, celebrate. I guess, like, if you look like you're juggling some balls, that's a reference to 6-7. I don't even know. So I don't care. Bottom line is, I don't care. I just felt really old at the Cal game last night, but I don't really care.
Yeah. Yeah. Time passes you by, man. But, oh well. And to think, maybe we can ask Belichick's girlfriend, Jordan Hudson.
Maybe we can. Just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa, we're coming to you on a Saturday morning a little earlier today because I got to make it out to Campbell for Walter Ikabalseta's baby shower.
Nice.
And I did get a gift. He is going to get some nice baby PJs in the mail soon.
Aw.
Yeah.
Did you just go rogue or did you go via the registry?
Registry. I want to say I bought some Lion King pajamas, but they could be a different type of pajamas.
Okay. All right. Well, that's nice.
And I think he needs some cheering up to do because Walter was nice enough to engineer the broadcast yesterday at Cal Memorial Stadium for the morning show and the midday show. And sure enough, they towed his car.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
that is awful. Lame as fuck.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah. So hopefully someone helps him out there. But Steven and I were both at the Cal game last night. I had a long day yesterday. I was in San Jose for our show at Jack's Restaurant and Bar. Great spot. But as soon as the show was over, got in a lift. Lift took 30 minutes with traffic. Then got to Milpitas BART. Took about an hour and 15 to actually get to Berkeley because we were stopped at Fremont BART station for a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Then got to downtown Berkeley by 8 o'clock. Had to do the walk up the hill. That takes about 20 to 25 minutes. And then finally sat in my seat at 8:30. And let me just say, Cal's a great environment. Actually, I think I saw Marshawn Lynch on the way over to the game. He was pulling out of the parking lot in his Escalade. I only say that because a bunch of people screamed out, "It's Marshawn!" I didn't see him myself. The way that they have the seats at Cal, terrible, absolutely terrible. Like when you get your tickets, it's this generic thing of you're in section FF to GG.
Yeah.
And when you ask people where the hell is this section, they never know. And I get it, like, they just work there. They should know that information, but fuck me, right? So it's just annoying where like I'm walking, I think my section is FF, and I'm like, hey, I think you're sitting in my seat. And they're like, no, sir, you're in section GG. And I'm like, well, where the hell is GG? And they're like, well, it's in between F and H. And I'm like, thank you. That's helpful.
Yeah.
So sure enough, me and my little brother just roamed around the whole stadium, hung out in the student section, felt really old there with all the people that like to throw out the unk and shop terms, but fun game nonetheless.
See, that reminds me, and yes, that whole seating arrangement, it reminds me of the Mitch Hedberg joke. I'm getting a little head on pop culture catch up, but I was listening to his album Mitch Altogether, which is like I think the greatest listening album that you can watch. I'm not saying it's the greatest stand-up special, but one to listen to. It's hard to beat. And my favorite one of my favorite jokes on there was he's talking about vending machines, and he's like, on the vending machine is it A through Z, and then it goes into double letters. And then he's like, I did not learn my AABBCCs. I was not familiar with that concept. I was not familiar with the concept of HH. And God damn it. That's how I felt last night. I was like, I'm not familiar with this concept. Yeah. What is this BB business?
It's kind of how I felt last night too, where just like everybody else seems to understand this whole, alphabetical system, but I don't. So whatever. Good game nonetheless.
When I go into a store, I like to treat it like a vending machine, because a vending machine, when the chips drop from the little stand, then the vending machine, the potato chips taste better. So I go into a store and I drop the food before I buy it. just so I can maximize its flavor potential.
But yeah, no, fun game. I don't know, like, did it feel like a big game to you last night? Because I understand like a lot of Bay Area media was there because
Yeah.
Belichick's coming to town, and Cal's relatively good. But the last time I saw Cal Memorial Stadium just absolutely packed, I want to say was 2016
Yeah.
when Cal played Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and that place was fucking packed.
Yeah.
Last night it was like, all right, it's a good amount of people, but not necessarily like you felt like this is where everybody's going tonight in the Bay Area for sports.
For sure. Last year was the most packed it's been. When they
the Miami game?
When they hosted Miami, it was sold out, over 56,000, I think, or whatever it is, with college game day and all that. But yeah, it made me think, like, last night, to be 100% honest, I can't give you like an evaluation of the game. Like, I was kind of half paying attention.
Yeah.
But it made me think, like, God, how is Cal going to compete with just any of these other schools out there when the transfer portal is what it is? Like, until fans start showing up, like, you can't tell me, say, like a guy like Fernando Mendoza, who was there last year, you can't tell me that part of the reason why he left is because maybe he felt like Indiana was going to be a better fit for him and his style and the scheme and all that sort of stuff. But also, you get to play in front of a crowd. Like, it's just seeing all that empty gold in Memorial Stadium out there when you've had all this promise. You brought in that freshman quarterback, and you got Ron Rivera in there, who says their number one goal is to put butts in seats. And it seems no one listened, because this game against North Carolina should have been a big one. North Carolina with Bill Belichick, like, it should have been a crowd that was over 50,000, but I'm sure it was probably just the average that Cal had last year, which was like just over 30,000, I think, which was ninth in the ACC. And then Stanford was all the way down at the bottom. Stanford doesn't get more than like 25,000 people. So I don't know. I mean, I guess until they put a competitive football team out on the field, like, they're not going to have that many people out there week after week. But again, it's just, how do they compete? Not necessarily with money, but just with fans wanting to, or the football players wanting to play in front of like a, I don't know, I don't want to say Penn State like atmosphere, but at least something that is reminiscent of like an NFL game.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think that, Ron Rivera and Andrew Luck come on KMBR and try to promote the programs a lot, but you could say like we want this to be a powerhouse, but you can't just expect fans to feel like it's a powerhouse. You got to do a lot of things. And Cal's interesting. They got the quarterback. Saga Polu-Telly is a interesting prospect, but I don't know. I saw him a couple weeks ago against San Diego State. He looked pretty bad, and then they blew that game. You and I were watching at Almanac, the game where Duke just beat their ass.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, and also, like, was it that big of a game last night? Like, UNC, when you look at the schedule, the start of the season, like, oh, Belichick's coming to town. That's awesome. But with everything going on with Belichick and the fact that the school has not performed very well with football in quite some time, and this year it's been a train wreck off the field, I don't know if it was that big of a deal last night. It was on ESPN, but then again, Cal's on ESPN pretty much all the time in that 7:30 slot. It was just, on a Friday night. So I don't know. I don't know if it felt as big as we were making it out to be.
Yeah. Well, I think with the preseason expectations of bringing in Belichick, the immediate thought was he's going to turn that program around. Like, why else would they put North Carolina as the last game of the first week of the season? It's because of Belichick. And I think that's why they just assumed, okay, well, we're going to be going to a place like Cal. It's proven that it could fill the stadium on one of these nationally televised games. Maybe this could be a big one. And I think the expectation was North Carolina would have done more than beat Charlotte and Richmond. And then when taking on Power 4 opponents, getting outscored 120-33. Wow.
Yeah.
So, no, last night was not that big of a game.
No, it wasn't.
Just based on their results. It would have been. But
it was a fun ending. It was a fun ending with, 3-point game, and looks like North Carolina's going to take the lead, and then a fumble in the end zone, touchback. Cal gets the win. It was just interesting. Like, as I was leaving and that play happened, the student section started saying high school girlfriend in relation to Belichick. And I was
Jeez.
like, and I was just thinking, like, why is he doing this? Like, and not to say like if he was coaching the NFL, like, he would get stuff thrown his way, but
Yeah.
the college atmosphere of it, not, and also like, the Pablo Torre video that was released before the game, and Cal with their social media department on the jumbotron having fun with it, making fun of him, saying like we use Canva instead of Adobe Photoshop. um, it's funny, it's clever, but at the same time, I'm like, why is he doing this? Like, I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. He wants the power. It's a passion project for him because his dad went to North Carolina. I was a coach there. But why? Like, he's really good on television. It's not like this is going to, add to the conversation of him being one of the greatest coaches of all time. Like, maybe, like, could he win a national championship at the collegiate level? Not with this program. I don't
Yeah.
think that's possible. I thought that maybe they would be competitive in the ACC, but the games that mattered, the games that were on national TV, as opposed to like the Richmonds or the Charlottes, he's gotten his ass kicked.
Dude, it's ugly. It's ugly. And even something else to add to that is The Athletic, with their top college writers essentially writing a hit piece on Belichick and Michael Lombardi just because of the way that they've been handling things within
Yeah.
that program. Like, you're seeing the words arrogant, disorganized. You're seeing that he doesn't know how to balance college and the pros. You're seeing the word inaccessible from an anonymous employee, which it feels like the same thing that we're hearing about, I don't know, say another Bill Belichick disciple, Josh McDaniels with the Raiders back in his time, where he didn't exactly have an open door policy. He was kind of separate to everyone else. That's what it feels like here with Belichick. It feels like it's only going to get uglier, man. And then the Pablo Torre thing, which was just it was so cringy. I couldn't take my eyes off of it.
Okay.
It was so cringy.
Let's talk about that for a second. And I know like Skills is in the chat saying like when do we get into football and like non college football talk? We'll get there, man. It was just because me and Steven were at the game last night. The Pablo Torre video. Look, I know I crap on Pablo sometimes. I call him Pablo Tattletale Torre. He does an amazing job with what he does. Do I really care about some of the stories he puts out there? No, but that's just me. I understand why he does it. It is true journalism. I joke around sometimes, but yes, it is interesting that he gets into the details of the NFL CBA and the Players Association, the Kawhi Leonard stuff. That is true journalism to me. What was posted yesterday, I got to be honest, this kind of felt like some TMZ sports garbage. And I understand like it's intriguing and cringy, but is it really news? No, like we all knew that Jordan Hudson was this manipulative girl that was working with Bill Belichick. And the true details are that was not an NFL Films production. That was Bill's own thing, I guess, that they're showing locally at North Carolina. It's the coaches show. And what you saw was she was just second guessing everything that the production staff was doing, questioning their graphics. And you saw it's going to be a meme now of that guy just like with his hands on the table being like, I can't believe she's here and telling us that we're doing this all wrong. I don't know. I guess you can surmise that that's how Bill Belichick runs the football program with her as his right-armed woman. But I don't know. I don't know if you can make that assumption really. Like I understand why people think that, but yesterday, like what was more telling to me was the CBS interview where he was asked about their relationship, and she just goes, "We're not talking about that." Right. That was more telling to me. This was just kind of like, okay, yeah, we kind of knew that about her, but I don't think it necessarily means that that's how Bill Belichick runs the football program with her right there.
But with all the other reporting that's gone out there, it's not just based on that one video, but with everything else, like you could safely assume that she probably has a hand in what's going on over there with that football program. And she's kind of helping run the show by saying things like using Adobe Photoshop over and over again. All you got to do is screenshot it. That's like me in college.
Yeah.
All you got to do is just take this shortcut. All you got to do is screenshot it, then post it, and blah, blah, blah. You do this. And then like Katie Nolan go into their website and just a bunch of Giphies. It's just
www.belichick.com with 2 Ks.
Yeah. I mean, as far as like, I should really close these. Oh my God, I almost just knocked over the laptop. I'm gonna, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna bring this over here. I'm gonna keep talking to the microphone as I close the blinds.
Oh,
Can you
look at
still hear
this.
me?
Yes, I can. A little walk and talk.
Yeah, a little walk and talk. I'm not saying like that video was as damning, I guess, as the other reports that have come out that Pablo Torre's done. But God, if that doesn't give you some insight as to what their relationship is like, and it really is Belichick and Jordan Hudson, and she does have her feet into this water here, into this North Carolina water. I don't know what fucking analogy I'm going with, but
Feet in the water, huh?
I don't know, dude. She has her hand in the cookie jar. I don't know, but it was just so cringy, man. I just couldn't take my eyes off
I
it.
know. It was cringy. I get it. She is definitely poking her nose into business that probably she shouldn't be. But I don't know. Like I have to believe that Belichick is serious about football. I get it. Like there's a lot of weird shit going on. The
Yeah.
fact that he's involved with a 25-year-old girl to begin with, interesting. And the fact that he's not as on his game as he used to be, interesting. The team is not performing well. He's in something foreign to him with college football. So the whole thing's a mess. I understand that. But I don't know, like yesterday, like I know everybody was like, "Oh my God, this totally indicts Belichick even more." I'm like, we kind of knew this. She's like that. Everything that's business.
Derek, but we haven't seen it in like real time. I do agree with you that it's intrusive, but like when you're seeing it actually play out, because in your head you just assume that's how it is, but when you see that that's what's going on, it really does make you just. It doesn't even make me think. Like I wasn't even thinking anything beyond just, oh my God, this isn't good. Like I would just be so annoyed if I was part of whatever that coach's show was with Matt Patricia.
Of course, it's annoying. 100%. But I have to believe that Belichick is not having team meetings and she's like, all right, guys, let me show you a good Adobe PowerPoint that I put together. I can't believe that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, oh,
I know.
I don't know. The other stuff I felt was the Athletics whole investigative piece. You know when it's important when they do the articles where they publish it and they have like the big highly edited photo, probably using Adobe Photoshop, the big highly edited photo on the top, and then you scroll down and then you see just this super lengthy piece. Yeah, that's what The Athletic wrote about Belichick and Mike Lombardi, and it's just that to me, that was bad. That's when you get people within the program talking under anonymity because they feel like they need to express something to maybe drive Belichick and Lombardi out of here because they are, I don't want to say ruining a program because UNC was never that great to begin with, but they're certainly not helping it.
Yeah, but like, okay, so what exactly is Lombardi doing? Like, I know Pablo Torre had his report that he went to Saudi Arabia to get some funding for the school.
I don't know if that was Torre. Was that Torre?
I believe that was Torre.
Oh, did he start that? I saw that in The Athletic too. The Lombardi stuff, it's just he's treating people like they're beneath him. He is like, that's mainly what's going down with that.
Well, that's just the Patriots' arrogance. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I've encountered Michael Lombardi. I've texted him quite a bit. He used to be a weekly guest on my show, on my Pops and Bonte show. He was the type of dude that would hang up before the interview was over, just because he had to go do something else. He comes across as arrogant, but I think most people that work in Bill Belichick's circle are like that, and that's why Belichick chose him to be general manager. So
sure,
can't say
can you use that for a college football program though, where it's more about it's about football.
They're the 33rd team, Steven.
At the end of the day, it's about football, but there's more to it than that. You got to be kind of a father figure to these guys who are turning from young men into grown adults. Like, you got to teach them life lessons, and I don't think Belichick's doing that. I don't know. But that's another crazy assumption. Then there was this other thing that was posted on Twitter earlier this week, Derek. This is Michael Lombardi explaining how he uses a typewriter.
So I'm just working on my to-do list, but I do it on the typewriter because it forces me to slow down. I have to think about what I want to write about, and the typewriter gives you that rhythm that you need
Funk.
to be able to slow your mind down and think. Yeah, you're going to make mistakes, right? And on a computer, you can delete the mistake. But sometimes the mistakes that you deleted have really powerful messages in them. And so when I first started to write my first book, I studied a lot of writers. A lot of them were using typewriters. And I worked for a guy named Ernie Accorsi in Cleveland, who was a former newspaper man, and he had a typewriter in his office. So I kind of got used to using it, and it helps me slow down and think, which ultimately is what this job is all about, thinking.
Yeah, and
I mean, that's a funny video, but I don't hate that.
people saw it as people saw it as pretentious.
No, that's his own method of writing. Whatever.
Yeah, yeah. It
It's
was,
like
yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this, because I saw this, I sent it to you. Eric Collins did an interview with Awful Announcing, and in it he says that he doesn't listen to any other broadcasters because years ago he was a not really sideline reporter, but I guess a field reporter for White Sox games, and he heard Hawk Harrelson have some phrase during a broadcast, and then later on he, in his subconscious, just it was there and he used it, and he was like, oh damn it, I'm stealing from him. So from here on out, and he claims this, since 1999, whenever he watches a sporting event, he mutes the game because he doesn't want to use any other broadcasters' calls or notes. It's all organic from himself.
Yeah.
And I find that respectable. At the same time, I'm like, really? How could you? But you've been a broadcaster for so long. Like, that's insane to me. Like, you don't listen to any other broadcasters to get a better feel of a team that you're not like well versed on. Like, it's kind of like I'm surprised when like Johnny Depp says in interviews, like, I never watch myself when I watch my movies. I don't watch my movies at all. I've been in like 50 movies in my career. Haven't seen any of them. And I'm like, how do you get better as an actor? It's, like Eric Collins is not my cup of tea on NFL broadcasts. He's very good on Hornets games, and he'll be on the NBA national broadcast on NBC. But I find it like equal parts respectable that he doesn't have to hear anybody else. But also, I'm like, damn, how do you get better as a broadcaster then?
Goes back and listens to himself, I guess. I don't know. I really don't know how you get better as a broadcaster, but I think he's as unique as anyone else in the game, and I love that. I love that he's trying something different. And I love that he pisses people like you off.
He's not pissing me off.
It's just like,
it's just that
why are you so excited for a Panthers-Dolphins game?
He's not pissing me off. It just wasn't my style as far as a broadcast. But
yeah.
I don't know, like Michael Lombardi uses the typewriter. Eric Collins puts the game on mute. We all, I'm not going to yuck anybody's yum here. Just how it's how you do your thing.
Yeah. Well, so from the tweet, it says it's crazy that he's considered super sharp in football circles when he devotes his time to using a typewriter instead of modern technology and thinks nobody will notice that hairpiece.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, we are cruel these days.
Brutal, man. It is. Twitter is brutal. Like I've stayed off it for a while.
Yeah.
I go on it in spurts, maybe when there's like a live game going on, but other than that, it is just so mean.
It is fucking toxic.
Everything like that in the video in itself. If it didn't have that caption, you'd wonder, okay, well, what's the conclusion I'm supposed to draw from that? And unconsciously, you're drawing that conclusion that he's not up to date on modern football technology because of this one little video. And I think that kind of encapsulates what's wrong with social media is you give one opinion, and I think that influences a lot of other opinions, even though it might not be the right one. It's just your opinion, man.
Exactly. You could have an opinion, just sometimes the wrong opinion's stupid.
Yeah.
Speaking of cruel, did Shohei Ohtani have the greatest performance in baseball history last night?
Yeah.
I think so.
Like there's no debate. Yes.
I see a lot of Giants fans. My guy Anthony Garcia, who works with us, who was on the Jumbotron for the Giants games. He was like, "No, you cannot say that's the best performance of all time." Yes, you can. I don't think we've ever seen somebody pitch 6 innings of baseball with 10 strikeouts and hit 3 home runs. I understand it's going to piss off a lot of Giants fans. They're back in the World Series. I get it. Dave Roberts kind of fucking needling everybody, being like, they think we ruined baseball. We're going to ruin baseball more with 4 more wins. I get it. That pisses people off. And the Peter Schrager's of the world or the Buster Olneys of the world saying like, this is good for baseball. You have to appreciate what the Dodgers are doing. No, you don't. You can hate it. I get it, Giants fans. You could totally hate what's going on right now.
Yeah.
But you can't deny last night was something special. And I hate to be hyperbolic. It is the greatest performance I've ever seen. And he might be the best baseball player of all time. Like it's ridiculous that we're saying that so early, but who else is doing the stuff who else has done? I know it's like Ruthian, but Babe Ruth was never doing the stuff that Shohei Ohtani was doing. This is insane.
Yeah. And throwing 100 miles an hour while doing it. And he's going to, he's going to go even further, right? You know, he's going to go even more than just, what was it? 6 1/3 last night, 6 1/3, 10 strikeouts. You know, he's going to go even further than that because they've just been slow playing him. They've been keeping him at 3, 4, 5. Like even Dave Roberts said, like during that one point when he had a no-hitter going and he was just done after 5 innings, like Roberts is like, nope, nothing is going to stop. Nothing is going to deter us from our plan. Our plan was to have him out there for 5 innings. That's all we're going to do. We're going to build him up for moments like this. So kudos to Dave Roberts for that. But you can't find another guy who's doing that. Right. Striking out 10 and then hitting a home run. That's second home run. That second home run that was, 117 off the bat, 469 feet. What the hell, man? It's unbelievable. Like I can appreciate, I don't have to like what the Dodgers are doing, okay? Right. But I can truly appreciate what Shohei Ohtani is doing. It sucks that it has to be wearing the Dodger blue and wearing that Dodger logo, the stupid LA logo that I cringe at every time I see it. It just makes my blood boil. But God, he's so good. And it's not even, he's just like a home run hitter, you know? I mean, this guy's hitting a 290, maybe above 300 batting average. He could steal bases. Like that doesn't get, it's never going to get talked about enough because of what he's doing on the mound and in the batter's box. But just his time from like first to third, the athlete that he is, you can't overstate anything about Shohei, man. It's unbelievable. It really is. I didn't even watch it live. Didn't watch it live. The only game we watched live last night was the Mariners and Blue Jays, which is turning into an awesome series, by the way. I think the Blue Jays can make this thing go 7. Mm-hmm. But you kind of knew the Dodgers, or you kind of knew the Brewers had no chance. Like the Brewers just look deflated, demoralized through this series. And you kind of knew the Dodgers were unbeatable. So I wasn't really hell-bent on trying to catch this game. But God damn it, did I miss did I get some FOMO when I missed seeing that, man? I had to watch the highlights last night and then this morning again. Like unreal.
Yeah, I didn't see it live either. I was, in transit to the Cal game, and I, heard about the Mariners coming back in that series. Now I forget that the baseball does 2-3-2, which I kind of like. You don't want to do as much travel. NBA, it's all 1-1.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is, 2-2-1-1.
Yeah.
To have the game 7 with the
2-2-1-1-1.
Exactly. Yes. So. Yeah, you can't deny that last night was incredible. And I get it. I have to think about my own fandom sometimes when I criticize Giants fans for caring so much about the Dodgers. But I think about my Raider days and how much I hated Tim Tebow and that Bronco team going to the playoffs and winning a playoff game, the Warriors and the Lakers beating them and the Lakers having success. I get it. I totally understand why you hate the Dodgers. My only advice would be just, I know that the chat's going to fucking hate this, Rocka New Era and AJ Cruz. You got to focus on the Giants. You got to focus on your own team. You have to start from scratch. And what I mean is not like rebuild the team, but like you have to think that in time you could beat this team. But right now, the Dodgers are like the Yankees of the evil Empire days where they won 4 World Series. Like I think they could go on that type of run right now.
They are the evil Empire of the West. And I think the play that really shows how, I'm going to say it, unfair it is with their team. Like teams can't do this. Okay. It was the play in the top of the 3rd. It was the double play where the Brewers base runner on first, he didn't tag up in time, thought the ball was going to drop. The ball was hit to left field. Kike Hernandez is charging into left field and manages to get the double play. Right. Here's where, to me, I'm like, my God, man, they just don't stop. Kike Hernandez used to be their second baseman, right? And now they replaced him with Tommy Edman, who's one of the best infielders in all of baseball. And that left field spot, it used to be maybe for a guy like Mookie Betts, even though Mookie sometimes played right too, but the left field spot was secured by him. Oh, no, it's okay. We're just going to move him to shortstop, and he's just going to be an elite shortstop in that department. And then we're going to have just this defense is, and I think the fundamentals that the Dodgers play with, I think that kind of it goes over everyone's, not everyone, but it goes over people's heads because of just how strong they are. And you can't help but think of that lineup. And it's just, oh my God, you got Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts out. Well, here comes Shohei. Oh, you get Shohei out. Well, here comes Teoscar Hernandez. And it's just on and on and on. But how good they are fundamentally. But the fact that they're able to do that, to just take a guy who is a longtime second baseman, replace him with one of the best defensive infielders, move an outfielder to shortstop where Edman normally plays, and he's just one of the better ones in baseball too. And then you could just put Kike in left and he makes plays like that. It's just crazy what they're able to do. It's insane.
Yeah, they're probably going to win it again. If the Blue Jays come back and win the series, then I think they have a chance. But if it's the Mariners and Dodgers, I think the Dodgers are winning the whole thing again.
I think the Mariners got a better chance, to be honest. I like their pitching staff a little bit more. But this was an interesting one. I'm going to bring up this article from Passan from before the series started. And he thinks that, or he thought before the series, the Dodgers Brewers could define baseball's labor battle. And he's using a bunch of big words. He's saying could be used as a proxy. Let me go. Essentially, this first three paragraphs. I'm going to just try and shorten it up. Essentially, he's saying the collective bargaining agreement expires and MLB owners could use this series specifically as, just a talking point in their negotiations, just another bullet point in why they need to have like a salary cap or somehow limit spending. He used the word, I had to look this one up. Let me go down. Where is it? Where is the word? I'm trying to look for the word. You can play out as a proxy of the coming labor war. Will play out as a proxy of the coming labor war between MLB and its players union. While Brewers are in the bottom third of the team, while the bottom third of payroll, while the Dodgers have a higher payroll than the bottom six teams in baseball.
It's a nice article. I mean, I get what he's getting. I understand what he's getting at with the fact that the Brewers don't make a ton of money and the Dodgers do, and this could be an argument to have a salary cap. But as long as the Dodgers are winning games, it's good for baseball. So I know that Rob Manfred threatened the Phillies with a salary cap, and Bryce Harper told him, get the fuck out of our locker room. I don't think they're going to change that because if the Dodgers win, if the Yankees win, it's good for business. And unfortunately, when these other teams win, it's not.
Maybe, but I think that's going to be the sticking point, though. It's just, okay, well, this is good for business, but I don't think a lot of owners are going to want that. Like, I think owners are going to want their teams to be a little more successful. That's where it's going to come. It's not about that. It's about just limiting spending and the salary cap. Like, players don't want a salary cap because the contracts are just so flawed in getting paid the first few years, where you got to go through pre-arbitration, then arbitration, and you got to bring it to a court and all that sort of stuff in order to get the big money. And you probably aren't going to be making any big money until you're like in your 7th year of service time or whatever crazy number it is. But here's the so he talked about like the power of these big money teams compared to the low level teams, and says the Brewers, consistently a bottom third payroll team, emerging triumphant, would serve as the latest evidence that winners can germinate even in the game's smallest markets, and that the failures of the low revenue teams have less to do with spending than execution. The truth, of course, exists somewhere in between, but in between is not where the two parties stake out their negotiating positions in what many expect to be a brutal fight to determine the future of the game's economics, and that is why whoever comes out victorious likely will be used as a cudgel when formal negotiations begin next spring for the next version of the CBA that expires December 1st, 2026.
What about cuckolds?
What
Cuckolds, he said?
Cudgel.
Yeah, no, I know. I heard it.
I had to Google that. Do you know what a cudgel is?
Not at all, dude. You lost me at Germinate.
It's like a club. It's like a club. It's like a bat. Like I looked up cudgel, and the first thing that popped up was one of those bats with like nails sticking out at the end of it.
Yeah.
So it's just like, my God, Jeff Passan, make it easier to understand.
Yeah, seriously, man. I don't need this pompous journalism from Passan too. Get enough from Pablo Torre. Use smaller words for us idiots. Come on.
But if Passan's writing something like that, I do believe that's to be true. And I think just based on what we've seen with these, I don't know, the COVID situation, 2022 as well, almost not coming to an agreement. Yeah, this one, much like the WNBA, this one might get ugly. Yeah,
well,
very ugly.
Yeah, for the foreseeable future, I think the Dodgers are dominating baseball, and it's up to Buster Posey to get a manager. Might be Stephen Vogt. We'll see. I don't know. The fact that they haven't hired Nick Hundley already makes me think they're waiting on somebody.
I don't know if the Guardians are going to let Stephen Vogt go, though.
Yeah, he's got 1 year left on his contract, and it's a matter of them paying him or not.
Yeah.
So,
dude, I don't. There's going to be so much that goes into it, but if the Dodgers are a reason why baseball's lockout happens, like, oh my God. And also
that's when they're really ruining baseball.
But think about it for the Warriors, though. Like, there's a reason the second apron exists, and that's because of the Warriors.
Yeah.
And all these super teams, supposedly. When Joe Lacob was spending, over $300 million in luxury tax, and other owners were really pissed about it.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, the Warriors were good for business as well, but it's really dictated by stars. So as long as stars win, then that's how the NBA makes their money. With baseball, they don't have a ton of stars, so it's beneficial when the Dodgers win and when the Yankees win. These big league cities. I get it. I understand why some teams will want an equal playing field when it comes to a salary cap, but I do not know. I think that, I don't know. I think owners, I do wonder, like this, what we just talked about, like with, do owners want, their team to be able to win as well? I don't know. I don't know if some owners are just in it for the money or if they really want to win championships. I do not know sometimes when it comes to baseball.
And also their money is dictated by like the TV markets and everything happening locally. It's a lot. It's really a lot to take in, and it's almost too complicated for me to understand, or it's just so layered. It's not like you can have like a single discussion, because if you say one thing, well, there's an entirely different thing that you could bring up. Like, I still believe that a salary floor should be implemented, but that's not even no one's even bringing that up. Yeah, see, there you go. Ernie, too, literally typed it as I said.
There should be a salary floor.
There should be a salary floor. See, that's a mind meld, Ernie. Yeah, maybe, but I don't think they're going to even go for that. I think that's just something that us fans want, because, it'd be cool to have teams that are forced to spend at least a certain amount on their players.
Can you imagine if they acquired, like, I know the A's are spending money now, but if they, back in the day, like, tell the A's, like, you have to spend this a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see that happening in baseball.
God, who had the idea? I think it was I don't know if it was Shasky who had the idea, but for whatever reason I associate this with Shasky. But there should be like a rule with owners: if their team is consistently in like the bottom of payroll and at the bottom of the standings, then they only have like 10 years with that team. Then after those 10 years, they have to give up ownership to someone else if they haven't done anything to improve it and help put money in their own pocket. Like, I loved that idea. Hold these owners accountable. I love that.
That's not feasible.
No, it's not. I know it's not, but it's a dream. It's a dream, man.
Yeah, but sometimes dreams aren't realistic.
Yeah, I know. I hope not, because the dream I had last night was an airplane crashing, and I'm going to be going on a flight to Portland next weekend.
Good God, man.
Yeah, I know.
Well, good luck with that flight. Let's talk a little NFL. Thursday Night Football was a lot of fun between two 40-year-old quarterbacks, the Unk Bowl, with some hug it, chug it football at its finest.
The Icy Hot Bowl.
The Icy Hot Bowl between Joe Flacco and Aaron Rodgers. And yeah, it was a good old-fashioned quarterback duel where two gunslingers, Rodgers was moving around like his old self back in the day. finding Jonnu Smith in the end zone. And then I understand why Mike Tomlin was a little miffed that Joe Flacco was traded in the division from the Browns to the Bengals. They were hoping to get Jake Browning, and Joe Flacco just carved them up. And I don't know if it was more so just the Steelers playing on a short week or their defense has been not great this season. Like, it's been better in the last few weeks against the Vikings and Browns. But then again, the Browns offense is putrid. The Vikings are playing with a backup quarterback in Carson Wentz, who may be better than their starting quarterback. But yeah, Steelers defense, not amazing right now. Bengals defense, we know, hasn't been amazing for quite some time. But it was just fun to see them go back and forth. And Joe Flacco in the postgame, I love that Thursday night postgame where he was saying, like, I didn't even know half of these plays, but Jamar Chase is open, so I'm just going to throw to him. And then T. Higgins is awesome, so I'm going to throw to him too. And Noah Fant's open in the end zone, so I'm going to throw to him. Just easy for him. The Bengals are watchable again. And the Steelers, it was fun to see Aaron Rodgers. I still think that he's not the Aaron Rodgers we saw with the Green Bay Packers. A little bit better than last year. The throw to Pat Freiermuth was incredible to take the lead 31-30.
Yeah.
The funniest moment of the whole game was him doing the Mario leap up in the air celebration after the touchdown pass. And then Broderick Jones, dude, what are you doing here? Like, this is equal parts a little too much from Rodgers, but also I totally understand because Broderick Jones, get the fuck off the quarterback. Rodgers leaping up in the air. then he just tackles him. And Rodgers is pissed. And I know some people are going to be like, "Oh, that's Aaron Rodgers being grumpy and being a bad teammate." And I'm like, "Nah, not really. Like if you had a 300-pound guy just jump on you and you're full of aches and pains, a 40-year-old man, you wouldn't want that shit either."
It's like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you tackling our quarterback? Like, this is the quarterback that we have. This is the only guy. He gets hurt, the whole operation goes to shit.
The freeze frame's great with his face right now.
Yeah, man. I had to stop it there. Like, that was the best. I think that's totally. I mean, I think it's hilarious, but I also think he's absolutely right to react in that way, man. Like, come on, you can't be doing that. You can't be tackling your quarterback just out of a celebration.
No, I thought that was you can't be doing that. But yeah, Joe Flacco keeping the ball on like a QB option that was just a breakdown in a play. It was a fun game. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I love me some unselfish play from T. Higgins, just falling down and not scoring. Yeah, these Thursday night games the last 3 weeks have been surprising, but pretty fun. From the 49ers win to the surprise victory with the Giants over the Eagles to the game a couple nights ago with the Steelers and Bengals. So yeah, I think the Steelers. I don't know if I'm buying them right now. I think that they got some good victories against bad teams, but I think the AFC North could be wide open, even though that the Steelers are 4-2 and the Ravens are 1-5 and the Bengals now are 3-4. I think that Flacco could keep this, thing steady with the Bengals for the time being. Can't count on emo-looking Joe Burrow to return, but I do think Joe Flacco makes them a better football team. And the Ravens schedule, I know that you can't play the schedule game in the NFL, but coming off their bye week next week, the Ravens schedule is pretty favorable the rest of the way. So I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if they turn it on. I don't know about playoffs, but I wouldn't say that's a foregone conclusion the Steelers win the division.
I wouldn't either, but anything can happen towards the end of the season, man. I mean, we're only halfway there, right? Like, I don't really have any. I'm not really drawing any conclusions from this game. I just can't believe that the second time in history, the second since Tom Brady and Drew Brees, that a couple of 40-year-old quarterbacks put on a show where they put up 63 points.
Yeah.
Like a couple of guys. And Joe Flacco's story is really cool. Like, I'm, getting benched and, for a Browns quarterback situation, which is just, it's unthinkable, really, what they're doing. Like, I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. I don't think they have a plan with their quarterback. It's just, hey, we have Joe Flacco and these two rookies who may or may not be good, and Dylan Gabriel still has more to prove right now. But like, what a way to he had this answer, Flacco did, at the end of the game where he was asked about whether he'd feel like they would have a moment like that again. And when I say they, I mean him and his family. And he's just like, to be honest, we didn't. Like, he thought his career was done after getting benched in Cleveland. So it seems the Bengals have given them new life. And I am doing this to kind of filibuster here, just so I could play this amazing sound. Nothing like a good old-fashioned sports radio meltdown. And let's head over to ESPN Cleveland with Tony Rizzo. This is good stuff.
Do that, Andrew. How could you do it? Why on earth did you feel the need to trade this guy to a division opponent for a 5th-round draft pick? Fireable offense. That is a fireable offense. I want to know how much longer the owner's going to watch this crap, because the fans have had it. We deserve better. You're just worried more about your stadium than you are your football team. That's the perception, Jimmy. And you allow these people to do this. You have the worst offense in the league. Your GM screwed this quarterback thing up like I've never seen in my life. I've never seen anything like. Kids that play Madden could have done a better job. Truly, that's not hyperbole. It's a joke. It's a joke. This franchise has become a joke.
That was my favorite part.
Blow your nose, man.
But also, it's become a joke.
It's been a joke.
It's been a joke, man.
Since 1999, where they were an expansion team, it's been a joke.
Yeah. I mean, you could go down the list and do an hour-long show about why we can have that reputation as a joke. I mean, think about the situation with Baker Mayfield. Think about the situation, I don't know, with Deshaun Watson and why they're at where they're at with the quarterback right now. You can go a laundry list of items. It's a CVS receipt of jokes for the Browns.
Yeah, and not to mention they've had 35 different types of quarterbacks starting for the franchise since they came back in 1999. This isn't hyperbole. It is hyperbole. The bottom line is the Browns are trying to lose. I thought that from the beginning of the season, where Myles Garrett knew he wanted to get out of here, but then they paid him $40 million, so it makes him easier to swallow the losses. As far as the 4 different quarterbacks on the roster, you're not serious. I guess Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry have carte blanche to do what they want with the franchise right now, and they're probably been assured that they're not going to be fired this season. If they fire either of these guys, it's a joke, because they're playing the long game here. They had to get out of the Deshaun Watson contract. He's still on the roster, but that won't be for much longer. They have 2 rookie quarterbacks. They signed Joe Flacco just so they can stay competitive for the first couple weeks, but that didn't make sense, and he did not play very well, and their team's not very talented. So I understand why Mike Tomlin's upset. I understand why Cleveland Browns fans will watch that game and be like, what the fuck? What are we doing? Your team cannot compete right now. The defense is really good. Offensively, they have nothing.
Nothing.
You're trying to get a quarterback next season. I don't even know if any of these quarterbacks are worth drafting, to be completely honest. But yeah, they're trying to lose. They are trying to lose games. It's not Kevin Stefanski and his team. They're not trying to lose. But the organization has made a decision. We're better off with Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders to see what we have at the quarterback position. And most likely, those guys are either going to be backups or not on the roster.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to find our franchise quarterback for the future next draft. But yeah, I get it's an easy take to have the next day to see Joe Flacco, but that is not the same team. The Browns do not have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Joe Flacco was playing with Jerry Jeudy, who's a fine wide receiver, and David Njoku, who's a fine tight end, but that offensive line's terrible. Yep. And they don't really have a lot of skill set players besides the 2 guys I just mentioned. So that's just an easy sports take radio to have the next day.
For sure. But it's all theater, right? And the crazy thing about it is, if you go to Cleveland, if you go to Cincinnati, I'm sure what they're saying on Sports Talk right now is Joe Flacco, that trade, it might have saved their season, because Flacco, look, man, for all of his shortcomings, he was playing with the Browns. In the Colts, when he was back with the Colts, they weren't what they are now. And now he's playing with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins in an offensive system that works. If you have those 2 wide receivers and they're getting as open as they did, and he hasn't even learned half the plays yet, and they're playing like that, not only that, but also the Trey Hendrickson thing. because Trey Hendricks' name was obviously going to be mentioned before the trade deadline, and a big talking point for the 49ers. And I know Tim Kawakami had a big piece about it, how Trey Hendrickson is a scheme fit, the money fit, and all that sort of stuff as soon as Nick Bosa went down. But then Diana Rossini tweets out today that he is drawing trade interest. Cincinnati isn't shopping him, and after their Thursday night win, most do not expect him to get moved. So Joe Flacco, that trade, it's amazing what a little trade like that could do. You have one side of the coin where it's like, his franchise is a joke. Where the Bengals fans are like, oh my God, when Joe Burrow went down, we just figured this season was lost. But now Flacco's bringing it home for the Bengals. I'm starting to like that little East Coast accent, you know? The Baltimore.
Was that a Baltimore accent you were doing?
It was me attempting a Baltimore accent.
Yeah. You watching The Wire lately or something?
Or the Eagles. Go Birds.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Flacco really is saving Zach Taylor's job and saving the season for the Bengals. And it shows that Jake Browning was that bad. And I was kind of I was naive to think that they could still win games with him. But I thought as long as you have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and that's not to minimize what Joe Burrow's done as a quarterback, but as long as you have those two guys as your wide receiver, you could put average quarterbacks in that situation and they should thrive. But Joe Flacco is a professional quarterback. He's just been doing it for so long. Is he elite? No, but he knows what to do. He's there. You know, he gets traded on a Tuesday. He plays on a Sunday, has a fairly good game against the Green Bay Packers, and then lights up the Steelers. So he is the best backup you want right now for a good team. And then hopefully they stay afloat that they can bring Joe Burrow back by December, whatever timeline it is. I think that as far as the Trey Hendrickson stuff, I never thought the Bengals were going to trade him. And if they win games, they're sure as shit not going to trade him. But the Bengals just do things differently, man. I know I've said that before, but like you hear the details of how Flacco got to Cincinnati. They didn't put him on a plane. He drove from Cleveland to Cincinnati so they could be cheap and not pay for the airfare. He drove his car 3 hours to get to practice that day. They're not trading away Trey Hendrickson. The Niners need to look at other options, and I don't even know if they're willing to trade for anybody at this point because I truly believe Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch know how good their football team is, and they're not going to be honest to us, but I'm sure behind closed doors they're like, we're not as good as in 2019. We're not as good as in 2023. We could trade for Cam Jordan or Arden Key. Okay, those are small moves. But for us to mortgage the future for a Trey Hendrickson or a Max Crosby, we're not doing that right now. We have to build up this team that we drafted, so many rookies. We have to see what we have. That was the whole point of the offseason. So I know some people are going to bang the door down for getting a middle linebacker to replace Fred Warner or getting a pass rusher to replace Nick Bosa. I think the next 3 weeks will be very indicative of that. Yeah. But I also believe that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan are not fools. They know that they have a good team on their hands, but not a great team.
Right. And I think it's pretty telling when a guy like Mayoko goes out there and intimates that, look, they might make a trade, but they're not going to do it unless it works for their future.
Right.
Like they're not worried about this season. Like, sure, you want to go all in on someone. And I sent this to you earlier, Derek, but
Bill
Barnwell in his 13 trade proposals. And, Bill Barnwell writes a lot, and a lot of these don't come to fruition. But and I know there's one Raiders trade that he mentions in here that they could make. But he's going through realistic trades. And among those 13, the 49ers aren't mentioned. There's no trade for the 49ers mentioned in this one. A lot of it is Chargers. There's a couple for the Lions. He actually had Trey Hendrickson going to the Lions, and then the Lions adding another big time pass.
Jalen Phillips.
Like, good Lord, Barnwell. So they got the Trey Hendrickson thing, in which the Bengals will get a 2nd round pick for him, and then Jalen Phillips, in which the Lions would just have to go for a 4th rounder for him.
Yeah, I don't see the Lions pulling off both of those moves. I can see them trading for Jalen Phillips. I think Trey Hendrickson's going to be off the table for everybody.
This was before the Thursday night game too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but either way, like even if they start losing games, I don't see that. I think the Dolphins will have a fire sale. I think that they may move on. We're hearing already rumors that Jalen Waddle will be traded. Devon A-Chain, both pass rushers for the Dolphins, and Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips. I also saw that one of the trade proposals he has was Jacoby Myers going to the New York Giants, and I guess there's rumors that the Giants want to add a wide receiver at the deadline. I could see that. I could see that making sense for the Raiders, and yeah, I think it does make sense for the Raiders to move off of Jacoby Myers because he's not doing a whole hell of a lot right now, and he wants a new contract. Might as well get something for him now.
Yeah,
so I can see that happening.
And he goes, he's not even saying it's just a draft pick. He's going straight player for player swap. He wants he says the realistic trade is to send Myers to New York, and in return, the Raiders would get Deonte Banks, the former first-round pick, the cornerback, which I wouldn't be mad at because I think we all knew that the Jacoby Myers trade was going to happen when, the whole request happened earlier this year, and the lack of getting a contract extension, and also just his really poor run blocking, and the fact that it seems like Trey Tucker has almost taken over as like the wide receiver one for this team, or at least the one they're targeting more than anyone else. So yeah, man, I'm interested in that. But here's another Raiders trade that he brought up. I know we're kind of going all over the place. Going down, not the Lions, not the Colts potentially getting Russell Wilson, not the Steelers getting Rashid Shaheed.
That's interesting to me.
Taysom Hill going to the Denver Broncos.
I've always thought that because of Sean Payton.
But this one, trading Tyree Wilson, the former 7th overall pick, for another offensive tackle in Braxton Jones.
I don't think the Bears would do that right now.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind it. I think Tyree Wilson's I think he's reached a pretty high ceiling, or he's got a high ceiling, but I don't know if he's going to tap into that potential this year. An offensive tackle has just been ugly for the Raiders as far as DJ Glaze on the right side, and then their backup, their swing tackle, Stone Forsythe, is not playing too well either. I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel about that.
But that's a position I don't think you could trade at the trade deadline for. Like, that's when you need to build up to the draft. Like, that's not a quick fix for the Raiders for this season.
Right.
So I think that makes zero sense. And what would the Bears do at left tackle for the rest of the season?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I respect Bill Barnwell. That trade does not make sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I see Tacky in the chat saying, how would Crosby be mortgaging the future if you already signed a contract extension? Because you have to give up a first-round pick, multiple first-round picks to get him.
Yeah.
You definitely have to give up a lot to get Max Crosby.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. No, I don't think Max Crosby is getting dealt anywhere. I don't think Trey Hendrickson's getting dealt anywhere. I think the more feasible options are what the Dolphins have and what the Jets have. Not like Quinton Williams or anybody like that or Sauce Gardner, but like Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, Breece Hall. You're going to see more like running backs and pass rushers dealt and some wide receivers here or there.
Or it could be just another quiet trade deadline. I don't know.
It could be. I think the NFL trade deadline has gotten crazier in recent years.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Raiders, I was at Jack's Restaurant and Bar yesterday, and what?
You have to say the full name?
Yeah, Jack's Restaurant and Bar. So you know what it is.
I've never called it by the full name.
Well, not to be confused with Jack in the Box.
It's just Jack's, dude.
Or the game of Jack's.
No one calls it Jack's Restaurant and Bar. It's been around for like quite a few years, man. No one calls it Jack's Restaurant and Bar. Hey, let's go to Jack's Restaurant and Bar.
Steven, yesterday I was with Pat H at the Jack's Restaurant and Bar, and a listener of the show came up, a guy named Rosenbag, also known as Tanner, and he said to me, Raiders and Chiefs, are the Chiefs the Raiders' biggest rival? And I'm like, I think so. In my childhood, that's been the case. He goes, man, I've always been used to the Broncos and Raiders being the biggest rivals with each other. And I'm like, I maybe in the 90s when the Broncos were good, or even in the 70s, or all the time. I mean, really, yes, they are big-time rivals. John Elway and, other Raider teams going up against each other. But really, like, for me, it goes back to the AFL days. It goes, when the Chiefs dominated the Raiders in the early 2000s with Tony Gonzalez and Priest Holmes, Trent Green. as far as a rivalry, like it hasn't been competitive with each other since the 60s. But, there were times, like I said, like the early 2000s, the Raiders were good with John Gruden. The Chiefs were good with Dick Vermeil. But yeah, to me, it's always been the Chiefs and Raiders that have been the oldest rivals and probably the most hated rivals, in my opinion. You're muted.
I am muted. No, they are the oldest rivals, but right now it's just not strong. Like, I mean, the 10 o'clock start on Sunday tells you all you need to know about what the NFL thinks of this rivalry right now, in which it isn't one. But I think there's more animosity with the players towards the Chiefs than any other team. Maybe the Broncos are a close second, but the Chargers are just like an afterthought. The Chargers just pissed you off with Phillip Rivers at that time and LT.
Yeah.
But as far as the biggest, I think the Chiefs are. They have to be. It's historic. Goes back to the 60s.
Yeah, like are the Chiefs the team you hated the most? Not right now because of the success with Patrick Mahomes, but in your childhood, did you hate the Chiefs the most? Between
I hated, to be honest,
Broncos,
I hated
Chargers, and Chiefs.
I hated the Patriots the most.
Really?
Yeah, just because of the tuck rule. And that was the part that was what rang true in my childhood. Like I hated the Chiefs. I couldn't stand them, but it was the Patriots who I couldn't stand. It's like, God, I hate Tom Brady so much.
Oh.
And a little in another one, it's not really a hated rival, but one that I think has some legs to it is Raiders Steelers.
Yeah, I mean that one's more historic because of the AFC Championship game matchups in the 70s. But yeah, just as far as like
a 49, that's like a 49ers Packers, 49ers Cowboys type of thing where it like goes back to the playoffs.
No, definitely. But as far as like division rivalries between the Raiders and the Broncos, Chiefs, and Chargers, to me, it's just the history between the two franchises.
Yeah.
It's Lamar Hunt versus Al Davis. It's the 60s playoff matchups. It's just an old AFL rivalry. Today, it means absolutely nothing. Patrick Mahomes owns the Raiders. In fact, most of the AFC West have owned the Raiders for quite some time. So all these rivalries are not competitive these days. But as far as like a historical aspect to it, it's more so just the history between the Chiefs and Raiders. The Broncos and Raiders, that developed more in the late 70s and 80s when John Elway became a quarterback. I would say the Chargers-Raiders rivalry is the weakest, but it kind of developed a little bit more in the early 2000s, late 2000s, when LaDainian Tomlinson and Sean Merriman were having success, and the Chargers would just beat up on the Raiders. The Chargers' local, television commercials would, have these commercials where they would show people locking up their doors, and it'd be like, "It's Raider Week. Be careful with these fans coming into town." That was that kind of rivalry. But I don't think anything gets as villainous as the Raiders and Chiefs. Broncos and Raiders is a close second, but I would say Chiefs Raiders is the most vitriol in the AFC West.
Yeah, like Chiefs fans wouldn't dare go to the Coliseum when those games were in Oakland, even though the team sucked. Like it was just a whole thing. There's a reason why they're selling "fuck the Chiefs" merch on the BART Bridge. Like my friend bought a shirt. It was it was always like, "Hey, you got $10?" It's like, "No, I only got $7." Okay, well then give me $7. Just F the Chiefs. Like that's where I got one of my I don't wear it anymore now, but it was it was the longest lasting shirt that I had. Those BART shirts have some longevity to them. But yeah, and Ernie's asking, is it a rivalry when it's just one-sided? It's still a rivalry, but it's definitely not as strong.
Yeah, I think we throw that term out today, like in the truest definition of it, like a rivalry has to be where both teams win, and I don't see it that way. As long as you have history of hatred, then it's a rivalry. Yeah. But is it competitive between the Chiefs and Raiders? No, not whatsoever right now. No.
I also, I hate to do this, but I'd agree with a Dodger, Max Muncy, saying earlier this season when they were talking about the one-sided rivalry with the Dodgers and Giants, where it's clearly the Dodgers are the better team. Is it more of a rivalry with the Dodgers and Padres? And Max Muncy essentially said, nah, like to me, you only have one rival. Like the Padres are in a division, so naturally they are. but the Dodgers and Giants just have so much history going back to the East Coast before they got over here on the West. It's one rival. And I think if you had to choose that one for the Raiders, it would be the Chiefs.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's, speaking of Dodgers, I think it's lame that you hear a lot of Dodger broadcasters like Joe Davis went on, I believe with KMBR, it might have been 95.7, but he said, I don't see the Giants and Dodgers as a rivalry anymore. I see more of the Dodgers and Padres as a rivalry because they're both good. It's gotten more animosity because of the players on the Padres, Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado just kind of being, snippy with the Dodgers players. I'm like, I don't see it that way whatsoever.
He was growing up in Michigan. What's he going to understand?
Yeah.
All
right.
Also, I didn't bring this up. I wanted to bring this up when we were having the Dodgers Brewers conversation.
Yeah.
Did want to mention with the Shohei thing, shout out to Brian Anderson, man. Like, you wouldn't think that he's the Brewers regular play-by-play guy based on the way he called that game last night. Shout out to him. Like, if Joe Davis was on the call, I am fairly convinced that Joe Davis, and it makes it sound like I'm kind of crapping on him. I think he's very professional and he's young, and it's, I'm jealous of where he's at, to be honest. He's 37 years old and he's like the premier play-by-play guy in both football and baseball. But but I'm guarantee you he would have like fainted, like had an aneurysm after Shohei hit that third home run. Joe Davis would have gone nuts if he was calling that game.
Dude, let's be honest. Any play-by-play guy would have gone nuts last night.
Yeah.
Like Joe Davis, yes, he's invested with the Dodgers, and it's the same thing when Joe Buck was calling Cardinals games and then calling playoff games for the Giants. You're like, does this guy hate my team? I get it, but he's the biggest star in all of baseball. So whether it's Brian Anderson, whether it's Joe Davis, whether it's Matt Vasgersian, then I'm sure would have been like, get up there, go, Ohtani!
Yeah,
like it was a huge moment last night.
Yeah. And I thought he did a tremendous job, but I'm saying, say if like I don't know, say if Dwayne Kuiper was calling that game, and he was a national guy, like he was, and Ohtani, home run, gone.
Well, we know Dwayne as a Giants homer, and that's great because he's on the local broadcast. I've heard Dave Fleming call Shohei Ohtani home runs with enthusiasm because he's on an ESPN broadcast.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I mean, Kipe's not the type to go national. He probably could have if he wanted to, but just probably elected not to because of just his relationship with the old Giants. Man, I miss when Kruk and Kipe were on, I think it was MVP Baseball.
Yep, back in the day, EA Sports.
MVP Baseball 2005.
Yep. Anyway. Those were good times. All right, everybody, let's do a little Week 7 NFL picks. It's something we call, as I'm filibustering, little wins or wangs.
Damn it.
Hey. All right, Steven, I am up 1-0 on you because I picked the Bengals to cover. You got it all wrong. We both picked the Steelers to win. I think we both picked the under, but you have the Steelers laying the points. I have the Bengals covering, so I get one single digit. Let's start in merry old London as Liam Cohen takes on his mentor, Sean McVay, as the Rams take on the Jaguars with no Puka Nacua. The Rams are 3-point favorites, over under 44.5.
Man, I think the Jaguars just get exposed once again, even though this one is in London, which is kind of like their hometown. So I'll just lay the points with the Rams, and I don't know if it's going to be that high scoring series. Give me the under.
I'm doing the same thing. I've been impressed with the Rams defense, even though I was up against the Ravens last week with Cooper Rush and Snoop Huntley. But yeah, they're going to have to find ways to keep this a low-scoring game, and I do think it's just the advantage of Sean McVay knowing Liam Cohen, even without Puka Nacua. So give me the Rams. I'll lay the points, but I'm going under on the 44.5. Let me go to a thriller. The 1-win Miami Dolphins against the 1-win Cleveland Browns with Dylan Gabriel at quarterback. The Browns are 2.5-point favorites, over under 36 points. And it sounds like this game's going to be windy and rainy.
I think this is a situation where the Dolphins are going to come back from the Tua Tagovailoa team meeting. Give me the Dolphins to win this game, and I'll just take the over against my better judgment because, God, that's a low number.
I am going under. I think this game's going to be ugly as hell. I think that Tua is going to struggle in the wind. I got the Browns winning this game. I can see this game being like 9-6. Yeah, so I'm taking the Browns to win, lay the points. I'm taking the under on the 36. And if they lose this game, the Miami Dolphins, this might be the last weekend we see Mike McDaniel as head coach. All right, moving on. Then we got the Carolina Panthers at the New York Jets. This game is a lot of interest to me because I bet Copes that the Jets would not go winless the rest of the way, and I bet that they would win this game. So the Carolina Panthers are 1.5-point favorites, over under 41.5. I'm taking the Jets to win. I was kind of impressed with their defense. Their offense is putrid last week against the Broncos in London. But I got the Jets winning this game. I'm laying the points, and I got the under. And, Steven, I got Steve Wilkes getting revenge on his former team, the Carolina Panthers. He's defensive coordinator of the Jets.
I'm doing the complete opposite. I'm going laying the points with the Panthers. I'm going over.
Just because Rico Dowdle's going off right now?
Rico Dowdle's going off, and the Panthers are playing some good football, man. I don't think their defense is very good, so I think the Jets are going to put up some points. But I think the Panthers know how to win games, and I think this could be a really close one. So, yeah, I'm going to have the Panthers, but I'm laying the points with them.
You're going over?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we got the New Orleans Saints going to the Chicago Bears, and I didn't even think about this until I saw the press conferences between the two quarterbacks. This is a revenge game for Spencer Rattler, who got his job taken away from him in Oklahoma with Caleb Williams, and both quarterbacks really didn't sugarcoat it. They were just like, yeah, we're not really that close. We're not friends, and that's understandable. So the Saints going to the Bears. The Bears are 4.5-point favorites, over under 46, or over under just 46 points.
Damn. Bears are 4.5 now?
Yep.
Oh, go on. I might have to change my pick. Because I did have the Saints covering that.
Yeah.
And I had the Bears winning. But if it's 4.5 now, that was when it was 5.5. If it's 4.5. Yeah, I'll have it going close. I'll have the Saints covering, the Bears winning, and I'll take the over.
I'm going under, and I like the Bears to win this game by more than 4.5. So give me the Bears, lay the points under on the 46. I think the Bears stifle the Saints offense, especially with Dennis Allen as the defensive coordinator for the Bears, getting revenge on his former team that fired him a year ago. Speaking of teams that fired head coaches, the New England Patriots take on the Tennessee Titans as Mike Vrabel gets revenge on his former team. Mike McCoy is the interim head coach of the Titans the rest of the way. Patriots are 7-point favorites, over under 42.5.
Yeah, I think it could get ugly for the Titans, man. I'm going to lay the points there, and I'll take the under.
I am doing the same except I'm taking the over. I think the Patriots can score some points on this Titans defense. So yeah, give me the Patriots, lay the points, going over on the 42.5. Then we got the Raiders at the Chiefs. The Chiefs are 11.5-point favorites, over under 45.5. No Brock Bowers once again. I believe no Colton Miller again as well.
I'm going to have the Raiders covering. I think that's a pretty massive number, but I'm going to have the Chiefs winning, and I'll take the over.
I'm taking the over as well, and I would like the Raiders to cover, but I think with Rashee Rice coming back, I think the Chiefs' offense looked pretty good last week against the Lions. Their defense played really well against the Lions. Yeah, this is a stupid statement to say, but the Chiefs are good, and they might be the best team in football right now. They're getting a lot of momentum. Yeah, I think the Chiefs actually blow out the Raiders, so I got the Chiefs winning. Lay the points on the 11.5, and I got the over on the 45.5. Then we got the game of the weekend. The Philadelphia Eagles going to Minnesota. The Eagles are 1.5-point favorites, over under 43.5. Sounds like Quinyon Mitchell's back for the Eagles. Questionable for Landon Dickerson and Jalen Carter. No J.J. McCarthy, but it's the revenge game for Carson Wentz to go up against his former team.
Yeah, I don't know why you think that's the game of the weekend. I don't find the Vikings that fun to watch with Carson Wentz, but I'll lay the points with the Eagles, and then I'll take the over.
What is the game of the weekend then, Steven?
I don't know. Not a lot of great matchups, to be honest. Chargers, Colts, maybe.
You're taking the over?
Yeah.
I just think this is interesting because
you love Carson Wentz.
I did once upon a time. I think he's playing better than J.J. McCarthy did. I think that the Vikings are more watchable with him under center. or really in the shotgun. No one's really under center these days. I go back and forth with this one because I could definitely see the Eagles, getting right, rebounding from 2 bad losses, having a mini bye week to recoup. But then again, I think about Jalen Hurts against this Brian Flores defense, and this is not a good landing spot for him. If Jalen Hurts gets protection, then he can easily dice up this Vikings secondary because it's not very good. But if it's constant pressure in his face, then he's going to have a long day. So against my better judgment, I'm going with the Vikings, and I'm going under on the 43.5. I think that Jalen Hurts is going to be stifled by Brian Flores' defense.
Buccaneers-Lions is a better game.
Well, that's Monday night.
Still a better game of the week.
I said weekend.
Oh, okay.
All right. Follow me here. Then we got the Giants going to Denver to take on the Broncos. The Broncos are 7-point favorites, over under 40.5.
Yeah, I think the Broncos are going to give a rude awakening to this Giants offense that has taken the NFL world by storm. So I'm going to lay the points with the Broncos, and I'm going to take the under.
I'm doing the exact same thing. I think that I saw Nick Benito talk some shit about Giants fans being delusional, and then Kayvon Thibodeau was like, okay, all right, we'll show you. I'm not buying that. The Broncos are a better football team. Give me the Broncos.
So that's what Kayvon meant by that.
Yeah, I know. I saw a lot of 49er fans be like, ooh, could he get traded? Why would they trade him now? They're just coming off a win. No, they're not trading him right now.
Because every 49ers aggregate page reposted it,
Yeah, believe me, I know. But yeah, the Broncos are winning this game, in my opinion, laying the points. I'll take the under. Then we got the Green Bay Packers going up against the Arizona Cardinals, and it was just announced that Jacoby Brissett will get the start once again. The Packers are 7-point favorites, over under 44.5.
I'll lay the points with the Packers, and I'll take the under.
I'm doing the exact same thing. If we are going to buy the Packers are true contenders, then they need to start beating up on some bad teams.
Yep.
Like the first 2 weeks look great. Last few weeks, they beat the Bengals, and that's a game they should win. The Browns game has me thinking differently. The Packers game, or the Cowboys game has me thinking differently. They need to dominate this game. And Micah Parsons has been dominant so far. It's not showing up at the stat sheet, but he's getting double teamed and held a lot, but they need to get to the quarterback a lot more. Really good game in the afternoon slate. We got the Indianapolis Colts going to the Los Angeles Chargers. The Colts' lone loss on the season was in LA against the Rams. The Chargers are 1.5-point favorites, over under 48.5.
I think the Chargers, Trey Pipkins is out and Joe Alt's doubtful. So yeah, I was wondering what was going on there. If Joe Alt was going to be healthy, then maybe I'd give him a chance. But yeah, I think the Colts are just too good. So I'm going to take the Colts to win in LA, and I'll take the over because I think these teams can score some points.
I'm going over because I think this game could be a shootout. But hey, man, Justin Herbert, he's Ethan Hunt, man. We'll find a way. I could see the Colts win this game, but for whatever reason, I'm going with the Chargers. I just think the Chargers are, more proven, I guess. I don't really know. I think that's actually, I'm thinking about that. No, they're not. They haven't really done much in the playoffs. So I don't know. I just think Justin Herbert's a better quarterback than Daniel Jones, but the Colts are probably a better team. But I don't know. I guess my better judgment, I'm going with the Chargers. I'm not really giving a good reason as to why. Making no sense here, but give me the Chargers. I'll lay the points. I'll go over on the 48.5.
Can't believe Mooney Ward is still out with the concussion.
Yeah, that's bad.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, especially in the pregame warmups where he just collided with another player. Then we got the Commies going to Dallas. The Cowboys are 1.5-point favorites. Sounds like CeeDee Lamb is back. Over under 54.5.
Jeez, man, that's a massive number. I'll lay the points, but yeah, I might go under on that.
Might or will?
I think I will. I'll then go under.
I'm definitely going under on that as well, and I'm going with the Commies. Bad loss against the Bears. They have to win this game because their schedule is not great going forward. So, and I just think the Commies are a better team. They can play more defense than the Cowboys at this point. So, give me the Commanders to beat the Dallas Cowboys in Big D. Then we got the Sunday night game between the Falcons and 49ers. The 49ers are 1.5-point favorites. Mac Jones is starting once again. No Ricky Pearsall once again. The over-under 47.5. Falcons will be without Jalen Walker and Ray McLeod, who was sent home after practice on Friday for an undisclosed reason.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Falcons to win. Look, man, I know Tatum Bethune, there's so much that's being said about him. I think it's just going to be overwhelming when the Falcons run game gets going. And I know there's this idea that they didn't play too poorly against the Buccaneers, but the Buccaneers were rolling with Rachaad White, who's been, I don't want to say anything about Rachaad White, who he is as a player, but I think just the talent discrepancy between Robinson and White, it's just such a huge gap between those two. And I don't know if the 49ers defense is going to be ready with it. And the Falcons has just been playing some really good ball. I think the 49ers are going to score a lot of points. I think they can really get by the Falcons defense, and Kyle Shanahan's going to scheme them up. But I just think the Falcons are going to win this game based on how they run the football. So give me the Falcons, give me the over.
That makes a ton of sense, but I'm going with the 49ers. And I think that even though they don't have Fred Warner, even though they don't have Nick Bosa, I think that Robert Saleh can find a way to shut down Bijan Robinson. And shutting down, that's just a vague term, but really in the run department. Passing game is going to be difficult. Really, I understand the Falcons have flashed the last 2 weeks, but I think they're more like the team we saw the first 3 weeks than what we saw the last 2 weeks, where, they beat up on the Commies, they beat up on the Bills. The Bills held them to under 100 yards of offense in the second half, so the Bills figured out their offense. I just think that you give Robert Saleh this whole week to figure things out. I think he can find a way to shut down the Falcons' running game, and then if you force Michael Penix to beat you, I don't know about that. I think that Mac Jones and the 49ers offense could do enough. I think Kyle Shanahan's familiarity with Jeff Ulbrich and Raheem Morris will benefit in his favor, so I think it's going to be not like an offensive explosion, but I think the 49ers can win this game like 26-16, and then fans will get their hopes up. But then, we'll see how it goes the next few weeks. But I think just the fact that Kyle knows this team very well with their coaching staff, let alone that Robert Saleh knows Jeff Ulbrich very well, I think that the 49ers win this game. So give me the 49ers. I'll lay the points, and I'll go under on the 47.5.
Interesting.
And by the way, we just picked the Commies and Cowboys game. No Deebo Samuel. So no Terry McLaurin, no Deebo Samuel. Still going to pick the Commies. I don't know why, but I'm still going to do that.
Yeah.
All right, then we got the Monday night games. We got a true doubleheader where they're spaced apart. You got a 4 o'clock start and a 7 o'clock start.
I hate it.
You hate that?
I hate these doubleheaders, man. It's Monday night. It's not Monday Night Footballs.
But do you like it where they're staggered, or do you like it now where they're spaced out?
I'm going to be going to bed before that second game's over,
Yeah,
so
I
no.
know. Yeah, I hear you. Nevertheless, Tampa Bay at Detroit at 4 o'clock. God, I'll miss most of this game. The Lions are 52.5-point favorites. Oh, sorry, Jesus.
52.5-point favorites.
The Lions are 5.5-point favorites. The over-under is 52.5. The Bucs will not have Chris Godwin or Bucky Irving, and it sounds like Emeka Egbuka is a true game time decision along with Mike Evans.
Yeah, I'm going to lay the points with the Lions. I think this is the time when the Buccaneers might get exposed just a little bit. And I hope Baker has a great game because he's just so fun to watch. But I don't know. I think the lack of weapons and just how much talent Detroit has, I don't think the Bucs are going to be able to overcome that. And last week, I think it was just, even though, there's been a lot that's been said about how well Tatum Bethune filled in Fred Warner's place. That Warner injury, I think, just sucked the life out of that game. And I just didn't think after that there was any chance the 49ers would win. So, yeah, barring any sort of injury, I guess, I'd have the Lions winning this one pretty handily, actually. So I'm going to lay the points, but I'll take the over.
I am taking the under, but I got the Lions winning this game. Same reason as you, just not enough weapons for the Buccaneers. So, yeah, give me the Lions, lay the points, take it the under. And then the later game on Monday night, you got the Texans going to Seattle. The Seattle Seahawks are 3-point favorites, over under 41.
Thought you were going to say the Seahawks are 41-point favorites.
Yeah.
I'm going to, I think this could be a really close game. So I'm going to have the Texans covering, but I'll have the Seahawks winning. And 41 is a pretty solid number, but I'll take over.
I'm taking the under. I think it's a defensive Rock fight. I'm with you. I think this could be a close game, but with the 3-point spread, I don't think it'll be closer than that. So give me the Seahawks, lay the points, going under on the 41. And there you go. Those are our picks for Week 7 in the NFL. I want to do this real quick because we're not going to be on next Tuesday. We're going to do our show next Wednesday because the Warriors are opening up their season on Tuesday night against the Los Angeles Lakers. So just real quick, your thoughts on the Warriors, Steven, as we head for the 2025-2026 season. I haven't watched any preseason games. My expectations are kind of where they were a year ago, but your thoughts on the Warriors as we head into the season?
Based on how they're talking, I'm feeling really confident, man. I'm not going to go by Kevin Pelton's advanced statistical simulation where he has the Warriors taking the 1 seed in the Western Conference and then making it all the way to the finals, ultimately to lose to the Orlando Magic. But
yeah, I saw that. That's a weird matchup.
But I just think that based on last season, I think the additions that they've made with Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton coming back eventually from the injury. I know Seth Curry just got waived today, but he's going to sign back with the team eventually when they have some financial flexibility. Yeah. But I think that's what Tim Kawakami said.
Yep.
But I'm feeling really, I'm not saying it's going to be like a 50-win season, but I don't think this is going to be a situation where they're going to be one of, I don't know, 4 or 5 teams that's fighting for the play-in. Like, I think they're going to be a top 6 team this year. And I know the injuries and health and all that, it's going to factor into a lot of people's decision, but it's not really with mine. I know that's might be flawed. I don't know, but the way that I saw them play basketball last year after they acquired Jimmy Butler, like, again, they were just so strong on both sides of the floor and they were just dominating teams. And then, Jimmy gets injured, has that back injury that was lingering, or the butt injury, the tailbone injury that was lingering throughout the postseason. Then obviously Steph gets hurt game 1 against the Timberwolves, where I really thought they would have beat the Timberwolves had Steph been healthy. So I'm feeling really good about this season, man. I truly am. It's just, how is Steve Kerr going to manage their health? How's he going to there's going to be a lot of games this year where I think there's going to be load management and fans are going to be pissed. But I think Steve's going to have his reasoning for it, or it could go south and, the Jonathan Kuminga hovers over the Jonathan Kuminga thing hovers over the team where maybe they're struggling, but they're not giving him as many minutes. And then Steve Kerr's going to get frustrated with all the Kuminga questions after a loss, and his expiring contract is kind of hovering over everything. And I don't know, maybe he makes a decision in the middle of the season where he's like, yeah, I'm not going to be coming back after this year. And so you kind of just know that, all right, this team's going to be without a head coach and they're going to search for a new one. I mean, it could go either way, but I'm leaning more on the side of, yeah, this could go well. Especially with
just real quick
talking about the team.
I'll get back to the Warriors, but according to Andy Baggerly and Ken Rosenthal, the Giants are closing in on hiring Tony Vitello as their next manager.
Tony Vitello.
He is the manager of the Tennessee Volunteers, and he coached them to a College World Series in 2024.
Wow. Look, man, I don't know much about him as a coach, in his in-game decisions and all that, but that dude is going to bring the energy. Wow.
I don't really have a lot to say about this because I don't know a lot about him. And again, this is not official. This is just Ken Rosenthal saying that they're closing in on this, but not official yet. But it's sounding like it's trending in that direction.
I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm immediately bullish on the move, but the way that I always look at these things, I just don't like making sweeping judgments before we actually see what the product is on the field. I just think this is a fascinating start to Buster Posey's tenure, because once he let go of Bob Melvin, like, the thing with me that stuck was that this is now Posey's team. Like, it's official. There's no remnants of the Farhan Zaidi era, except for maybe a couple of players that's still on the squad. But other than that, like, this is Buster Posey and who he's building this team around. And the fact that this is his first hire, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I love it. I was hoping for maybe another more experienced manager, but maybe this could be the start of something. Like, I like the idea of finding someone that we've never heard about. and
Interesting.
maybe it being, something unexpected. I kind of like it.
I don't know what to think of it. I need to know more information about this guy. I know some people were posting pictures of him from the College World Series and saying, I would love for this guy to be the manager of the Giants. Um, I I need to know more information. I need to know that if it's actually going to be official. Sounds like, yeah, he's got a lot of energy. Go ahead.
It's this guy. He was on MLB's draft coverage. Oh, okay. I didn't know who he was. Like, Major League MLB Network did a terrible job of saying the names and putting the graphics up to the names of these people. I was like, who's this guy who's giving all this analysis? I've never heard of him, but he was on their pre-draft coverage show, and he was kind of the go-to guy when analyzing the game. This is an interesting move.
Yeah, I mean, again, we'll see if this actually comes to fruition, because I remember Andy Baggerly saying a few weeks ago that Nick Hundley was the favorite in the clubhouse if he wanted to take the job. Maybe Nick Hundley did not want to take the job. But again, this is not official. It just sounds like they're closing in on this. And I don't know how Giants fans are going to react to this, because it's not a name. So if you wanted some emotion out of your manager and you weren't getting enough from Bob Melvin, I think you're sure as shit going to get some out of this guy. Yeah.
Look at this ejection.
And one of them and now they're both thrown out. And now Tony Vitello bumps the third base umpire.
I think that just kind of shows the type of guy that he is, but he built the Tennessee team into being a national champion. So I don't know. Can he do that at the major league level?
That's interesting. I've also heard that Buster wants to pick the coaching staff himself. So maybe there was a sticking point with some managers.
Where'd you hear that from?
I'm not disclosing my sources.
Well, what about him? He literally said that it was going to be to their discretion.
I've heard that Buster wants to pick the coaching staff himself.
Well, that just goes against everything that he said for the last couple of weeks.
It might be where it's more of a collaborative effort, but I think Buster wants to have a true say in what goes on with the baseball team, as far as the day in and day out, how they play.
Well, I'm not mad at that, because Posey's an all-time great, so not mad at that at all.
As far as the Warriors, look, I think a little differently. I think that they're a very old team, and I think that Al Horford definitely fits a need. But when I see the rest of these teams in the Western Conference, I just don't know if they can compete with them. I think the Warriors are obviously going to be a playoff team. I think it's going to be kind of like the same of last year, where they start out hot and then reality sets in. Like, they're better than where they were when the season started last year with D'Anthony Melton and training for Dennis Schroeder from that injury. I think we're not really going to know this team until the trade deadline. I think that I know some fans are just going to say, like, oh, you can't focus on the trade deadline and Kuminga's here for right now. Let's focus on that. No, I think it's set in stone that they're probably going to trade him. So I really don't know how to gauge this team until I see what they do at the trade deadline. I think that they want to get another big piece. That way they really can compete with the other teams in the Thunder and the Nuggets and the Rockets. So right now, as they are constructed, I would say like they're a 7th seed. I think that they're good, but not great. The way that I would have it right now in the Western Conference, I think the Thunder are just as good. They didn't lose anybody. So Thunder, Nuggets, Minnesota Timberwolves, Rockets, Clippers, Mavericks, and then I got the Warriors as like a 7th seed. So I think they could be better. I think that, to ask Steph Curry and Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler to carry this team in their late 30s, I don't really know right now. They need a lot more youth. And I don't think that Jonathan Kuminga is going to be the guy to save them. So I think they'll be a good team, not a great team, but they could become a great team if they make a big move at the trade deadline. So the way I have it is Warriors probably be a play-in team as of right now. Eastern Conference, I think the likes of the Knicks and the Cavaliers and the Magic benefit from the injuries with Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton. So I got the Knicks, I got the Cavs, I got the Magic, I got the Bucks, Pistons, 76ers, and then as you're playing teams, Celtics, Pacers, Raptors, Brooklyn Nets. Bottom line is NBA Finals. I think the national audience will hate this, but I think it's going to be Thunder beating the Cavaliers.
Wow.
Thunder go back to back.
Look at you. Just going
That's what
all
I see.
through it.
Just going all through it. You got any predictions or not?
No, I didn't know we were going to do that.
I texted it to you
When?
today.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Oh, shit. Whoops.
Either way, it's all good.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Whatever. Like, look, I don't know. I mean, I get where you're coming from, but the Warriors were literally the best team in the NBA, like, towards the end of that season, maybe second to the Clippers, like, in the back half of it. And I don't know. I just think they really... I know what you're saying. I know the other teams probably have more upside, and you're talking about the age thing, but the Clippers are the oldest team in the league. So by average, so if you're going to use the age thing, then I think you got to use that against the Clippers too, no?
No, that's totally fair. I just think that, I don't know. I think they're a better team, honestly. I think that Kawhi and James Harden just give you more offense, where Jimmy Butler's more of a facilitator to Steph Curry. So
Sure.
you're going to need a lot of offense from Steph and another 3-point shooter, and to rely on the consistency of Putty, Hield, or Pajemski. I'm not really confident in them right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that the Warriors, I get it. Like, they looked really good and really dominant when they acquired Jimmy Butler, but there were stretches there where, the age showed, and injuries will play a factor. It's not like Steph Curry is going to play all 81 games this season. So
Yeah.
I think you have to account for that. I just don't think this is the team we're going to see for the entirety of the season. I think they're going to have to make a big move to be a true final contender.
I think the West, I think it's pretty well set, and it could fluctuate with those top teams, but I kind of agree with you in that those will be the top 7, and the rest have some catching up to do. Pelicans might be a sleeper to watch out for, just because they added Jordan Poole, and Kevon Looney and Zion Williamson looks really thin. But I think the Eastern Conference, I think that's as unpredictable as it's been in recent years, just based on those injuries. Like with Dame, Dame's in Portland now. Without Dame, with Tyrese, obviously, with Halliburton and Tatum and all those guys hurt, it's kind of wide open right now. And I'd love to put the Knicks up there as far as a team that's going to be representing the East in the finals, but I kind of agree with something Becky Hammond said back in 2023, which always pops up every time the Knicks play in the postseason. Like, Jalen Brunson, if that's going to be your lead guy, I don't know if that's going to be the type of player who is going to take you all the way to the finals. Like, you need kind of a 1A and 1B in that situation. And that 1B is meant to be Karl Anthony Towns. But even then last year, like, it was just other teams were too good,
Right.
and just too powerful. And they eventually got used to the next style of play. So you're probably right that it could be the Cavs, and the Thunder might be returning. Like, we mentioned it at the end of last season, like the Thunder, they didn't regress at all. It was kind of like the way we were talking about the Eagles, except the Eagles clearly have issues offensively. Right now, like, I don't see the Thunder taking any sort of step back, barring, some significant injury to SGA or maybe Chet Holmgren again.
No, I mean, they're incredibly young. So yeah, I think that they could go on a Warriors dynastic run here. Real quick, Alex Pavlovich does have the report out right now. He responds to Ken Rosenthal's report saying Tony Vitello has been on Buster Posey's radar for a while, and sources have said Posey kept circling back to him during the search this month. Nick Hundley was the other early front runner, but I heard he pulled out of the job recently. So there you go. Sounds like Tony Vitello could be your guy for the San Francisco Giants. Any jackass of the week, Steven?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay, go for it.
Actually, let me pull it up because I can't really explain it until I get the tweet. But it was from earlier this week. And yeah, all right, here we go. It was after Blake Snell had that start in game 1. And we all know Sarah Langs, right? She is the baseball stat guru who always puts things into historical context. And the tweet was, Blake Snell's the first pitcher in postseason history with over 10 strikeouts, 1 or no hits, and no walks in an outing of over 8 innings, which is very specific. But someone else, I guess, tweeted that stat out, and she's another one of these stat people, and decide to decided to call Sarah Langs out saying, okay, then let's be friends instead and not do this. We play for the same team of making awesome baseball content. I genuinely love to hang with you. We see like a natural fit, right? We compliment one another. Why do this? And it's like, she's basically insinuating that Sarah Lang stole her tweet. I'm like, you're really going to go at her for that? For something that literally for something that Sarah Langs has had kind of, she's had a place for that. Like, that's her thing, right?
Mhm.
And there's others who can get involved. And sure, if you wanted to really do the research that she does, you could be posting the same stuff. But to do that and then call her out for someone who is dealing with ALS, like, it's just like, come on. You're going to really like accuse her of stealing a tweet when really, if you wanted to do the research, you could probably take that and tweet that. That's like something that that's like something I could do. Anyone could do, really. It's just if you really wanted to put in some time and then decide to tweet it out, it's like, it's okay if she's the only one, Sarah Langs that is, who has that sort of stuff. It's okay. Like, if she's the one who's the stat context person, and then to call her out on that, I don't know. That to me was just a jackass move.
I would agree. I think that people steal tweets all the time. Like, I tweeted out earlier this week, there's a funny billboard around the Bay Area of this law firm that has Fred Warner as their client. And the billboard says injury attorneys, and it shows Fred Warner on the billboard. And I tweeted out saying, like, do you think that's good for their business anymore? And many people have tweeted that out after I did. You think people are stealing that from me? No, they just had the same thought I did. So I hate that stuff. And to pick on Sarah Lang with all that she's dealing with right now, that's lame as hell. So yeah, I'm with you on that one, Steven.
Yeah.
My jackass of the week, I wrestled with this one because initially I was like, is Chris Collinsworth a jackass for telling people that coaches use PFF and you're all just making better business for himself? And I'm like, no, he has to defend his company, so that's not a jackass move. Then there was Jordan Schultz, who was like, we have to take the Falcons seriously as an NFC contender. And I was like, no, that's just Jordan Schultz's shtick. He's he's just always a jackass. To me, it's Russell Westbrook. Do you have this video I sent you, Steven?
Yeah.
This is him at a Kings preseason game. And look, you could say that Russell Westbrook has had some jackass tendencies as well, but there's little kids with jerseys, and there's ones from his Thunder career, and then there's two children that hold a Lakers jersey, and he tells them, I'm not going to sign those jerseys.
Oh, come on, Russ.
Yeah, and I like to think, again, this is social media, so I like to think that maybe he goes back because like we don't get the full video. I like to think he goes back and signs the jerseys for those two children. But then again, why would he skip over them in the first place? If he did not sign the jerseys because of his Lakers past and his falling out with LeBron, I'm sorry, like that's just lame. Like they're two children that showed up with the jersey for you, so the least you could do is just sign it. It doesn't matter if it's the team that you had a better history with, the Thunder jersey, the Rocket jersey. You didn't want to sign it because it's the Laker jersey. I find that to be lame as hell. So I think it's a jackass move.
People coming out it's not a joke. It's not irony. It's not people who are doing this just for social media. It's people who clearly loved you as a player and wanted your autograph. Like, that's the type of thing. Steiny, for example, he hates Dr. J because he skimped him on an autograph or something like that. That stuff sticks with you.
Yeah.
Right. And I know Steiny's kind of half joking, but I think there's also hints of truth in that. So it's like, come on, man. With kids too. I don't know. I understand like the whole Charles Barkley thing. Like, we're not supposed to be role models, blah, blah, blah. And I say yes and no to that. Like, you don't have to lead with your actions, but if someone is trying to get your autograph and you just reject them, like, that's just ultimate jackass move. And again, you're right. We don't know because it's social media. We don't know whether he might have went back to go sign it or
right.
if he gave an apology or whatever, but I don't know. I understand going at fans who might say some things. I have no problem with Russ doing that. I think fans can be just so disgusting
Mhm.
with what they say, treating these people, how they're treating them. But it was just some innocent kid just trying to get a Westbrook signature. I don't know. That just definitely rubbed me the wrong way. That's the first time I'm seeing it. Like I
Yeah.
looked at it, I kind of knew you were going to use it eventually, so I figured I'd see it on this podcast. Didn't like that.
Yeah, I don't like it either. Real quick, any pop culture catch up?
Yeah, I mean, I've just been. I realized on Paramount Plus that you can go back and watch all of the Comedy Central stand-up presents.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched Greg Giraldo, Mark Maron, just to see what he was like back in his younger days.
Yeah.
God, he's changed. I'd say, what was the other one that I watched on there? I was watching Patrice O'Neal's Elephant in the Room. I'm like halfway through that one. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Rest in peace, Patrice O'Neal, one of the best.
So good. God, what was another one? Then I did watch Mitch Hedberg's, and I ended up listening to his album on the way into work. And I start like the first moment I got in, it was going to be a report about Tatum Bethune wearing the green dot, what Robert Saleh had to say, and like I started like writing it, and just I had Mitch Hedberg's voice in my head as I'm writing it. So I'm like, Tatum Bethune wearing the green dot helmet. You know, you can get green dot stickers. It's just a sticker. So hey, I'm wearing green dot cleats. Hey, I'm wearing green dot shorts. You know, and that kind of thing. I just had his voice in my. I love that. That guy's so good, man. So talented. And I remembered vaguely that there was like a documentary that was going to be made about him. And yeah, that was in production starting last year, and I think it's going to be released next year. So really looking forward to that one. But other than that, man, Slow Horses is back. If anyone's watched that on Apple TV, I think Gary Oldman's character as Jackson Lamb is one of the best in television right now. I think he's so good. And then the studio too. Finish the studio up, which is amazing.
Nice. What'd you think?
Oh, dude, that the episode with it was the second episode, I think it was called The Shot or The Oneer or something like that. Where
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was just all sorts of kind of Curb Your Enthusiasm, cringe comedy where you just where you couldn't look away as he's oh my God, when his car is in the way of the shot and he gets in the way of it, it was so good, so well done. Really enjoyed it, and I understood the joke finally when he won the Emmy, where they asked why he didn't thank Sal Saperstein. That was a really good. Good
that's a great episode.
And that finally registered. I was like, oh, now
Sal Saperstein. No, that show was extremely well done. As far as what I've been watching, the HBO show The Chair Company with Tim Robinson. First episode came out. I love me some Tim Robinson. I Think You Should Leave. Love the movie Friendship. This is very much like those works. I do not know how they're going to make a full season of the show. It is very weird. It seems like a exaggerated sketch that he could have done on I Think You Should Leave Now that probably would have taken 10 minutes. Instead, he's making a whole season about a guy that embarrasses himself during a work presentation while falling out of a chair. That is the whole premise of this show. And it's hilarious. And if you like his style of humor, it's entertaining. But I do not know how they're going to get 8 episodes worth of a show with this.
Well, that makes things a little more interesting, though, right? Like maybe they're going to throw something at you where you're like, oh, my God.
Yeah. It's equal parts cringy and hilarious. And it's just a different type of humor that I don't think it's appeals to a mainstream audience. But then again, it's on HBO, and I Think You Should Leave was a huge success on Netflix. So, yeah, I'm very intrigued to see where they go with this. And then I watched the very emotional John Candy documentary on Amazon Prime. Have you watched that?
Yeah, actually, I forgot we watched that too.
Very good. Colin Hanks directed it. Produced by Ryan Reynolds. For a guy that doesn't have a lot of skeletons in the closet with John Candy, good family man, just like to drink and eat. Very entertaining, and a guy that I think is not celebrated enough as far as just a guy that made us all laugh and just a great guy in comedy.
An icon, really.
Yeah.
Them shutting down the freeway for his funeral. I don't know if that's like a spoiler alert, but That's I mean, I didn't even know that happened. And it was just like the third guy besides what, OJ and or not OJ.
Not for his funeral though, Stephen. They
For
weren't shutting down freeways for old Juice's funeral.
who did they shut down the freeway for again?
As far as the funeral,
Yeah.
uh,
I can't remember. It was two other guys. It was not
Yeah.
OJ.
it was not OJ. All right, everybody. To Ernie one, better late than never, man. Yeah, we were all over the Giants skipper news. Apparently, Tony Vitello is going to be your new Giants manager, the former manager of the Tennessee Volunteers who got them to the College World Series and won it in 2024. So we'll talk about that more next time. Maybe we'll see if this actually becomes official. We'll review everything for Week 7 in the NFL next Wednesday as the Warriors are playing on Tuesday night to open up the NBA season, now on NBC and Peacock. Going to be weird to adjust to that. So we'll be back next Wednesday. And to everybody in the chat, thanks to AJ Cruz, thanks to Ernie One, thanks to Tacky, thanks to Skills Report, thanks to Rockin' New Era, and I believe, Pat H, I believe that is it. All right, everybody, we'll see you on Wednesday. Steven, say what you always say.
It is just our opinion, man. I don't really know what I'm doing.